what are those extrinsic goals that you're working towards? How is your contribution in this little task? How's it actually going to make the world a better place? I think we all know that at the moment, cities are going through a full transformation, and it's something that's quite exciting because what we're seeing now is that cities are truly embracing the digital way that we live and work and play and do everything else. Back in the 40s to 60s, what happened with a lot of cities is that they became very reliant on cars. And because of cars, we saw these big highways, we saw the birth of suburbia, we saw cities really spreading out. But what we haven't really seen in this day and age is we haven't seen the way that cities are transforming because of technologies like, AI and the cloud, robotics, etc. So today, cities are transforming in a way that actually think about, how can people interact with cities? What's going to drive them in? What's going to make cities more productive? What's going to make them more sustainable, more resilient, better places to live? How do we actually design the future of cities in a way that's more engaged with technologies and also a better place for people to live in the long term? Now, we all know that cities, they're big, they're complicated, and a lot of these are big picture projects. For me personally, I live in New York, and it is arguably, but I think there'd be many people that would support this point of view, it's the most exciting city on earth. And, sitting where I am at the moment, just to see the way that is transforming and the types of innovations that are coming out and being part of that conversation, being part of round tables where we're sitting down with, government officials and visiting dignitaries talking about ESG, resilience, climate change, and how technologies can support these goals is something that's incredibly exciting. There's a lot of different thinking that's going on, thinking about change of use from office to residential, invigorating the streets, improving transportation, which might be closing down roads or bringing in flying taxis. It's the most exciting time to be actually working in this space and looking at the future of cities. For me, if there's anything that I'd like to close on, really it's this. It's that, the future's not just coming, it's already here. But what's most important for all of us, no matter where you work or what type of organization or what level of organization you're in, is that we need to make the changes today to create the future of tomorrow that we want to see. So it's a very, very exciting time for the real estate industry. It's going through a full digital transformation at the moment. Very similar to what a lot of us will have experienced in banking. Now you can do all of your banking on an app. What's going to happen and what's starting to happen is that the way that we interact with buildings is all going to be completely digitized. But it's a big journey. So what does digitization look like? Well, it happens across the board. It happens from the design and construction of a building through to the way that it's actually used. So, can you turn on a light switch? Can you find a parking? Can you make sure that the air conditioning is at the right temperature and preserving energy, for example? All through to the way that it's, sold, it's transacted, having that data to make sure that big decisions are being made. So what we're actually seeing is that, the physical space and cyberspace are starting to merge together. And this is something that's really exciting. In my keynotes that I give to the real estate industry particularly, what I'm interested in presenting to audiences there are around the trends and technologies that are impacting the industry and how they can actually start to identify new opportunities that can be used to actually, basically give them an edge, to look for opportunities where others might not be looking, to see how we can, cut costs, we can have a better product, better experience, and just basically make properties future ready. Yeah, look, Gen Z are pretty fantastic, and they're actually a really unique generation that just doesn't get enough credit. Today they're already the largest global population group, and they're actually the first generation to have never known a world without the internet. So the way that they engage with the world is always like hyper connected, hyper digital, and hyper engaged. They're super savvy, super smart. So for businesses, they've actually got a challenge because, the statistics show that Even this year in 2023, 70% of Gen Zs are thinking about changing jobs, which to me is just incredibly sad. It's showing that they're disengaged and they're not being utilized in the workforce in the way that they want to be. So for Gen Z, we've got to think about, what does this generation want? How do they think? What motivates them? And how can we appeal to them? So Gen Z actually have a lot of unique attributes. As I said, they're digital natives, so they're hyper connected. They have on average 10 devices that they're using. They're flicking between devices. You can't have an analog workplace. That doesn't work for them. You actually want to have a digital first experience. We know at Gen Z that the environment really, really matters to them. We've seen them, they're eco warriors. They're out protesting about climate change, about saving the world. Now, how can a workplace appeal to them in that way? And of course, with Gen Z, they're just a generation that they love to express what they're talking about. They expect personalization. They want to be engaged as an individual. So there's a lot of things that workplaces should be doing and can be doing to engage with this generation. And what I'm very passionate about is seeing how can we appeal to them in the right way to keep them engaged and really bring out their best and highest, passion for what they do. So I'm going to be a little bit controversial right out of the gate. And unfortunately, I just think mental toughness is not what we should be looking for. And unfortunately, sometimes we hear this expression talking about snowflakes, oh, you're so gentle. Oh, you're going to disappear in a heartbeat. I just think that this is unfortunately the wrong perspective. No, we shouldn't be coming to work and trying to be tough and bold and push through it. The pandemic kind of made people rethink about, what do we want in the workplace? We don't want to be, fighting every day. But, what I think is more important is actually talking about motivation. How can we actually have people that are more motivated in the workplace? And when they're motivated, that's when you get the best out of people. So it's good for the business and it's good for the individual. So how can we actually have teams that are more motivated? Many ways. First and foremost, we have to remember that everybody's an individual. So if I'm in a workplace, for example, I'm a people manager, but I'm also an individual. I have a life, I have good days, I have bad days, I have strengths, I have weaknesses, there's office politics. These things that we all need to take into account because they're real. We're not cookie cutters. So you need to think about firstly, as I said, people are individuals. We need to treat people as individuals. We need to know that different things appeal to them. We need to know that people want to be in an environment that is supportive of them, where they know what their mission is. What is the higher purpose in what they're doing? Give them some autonomy, but know what they're moving towards. That's going to be really helpful. And the third thing is also just understanding that we want to be able to give people a bigger mission. What are those extrinsic goals that you're working towards? How is your contribution in this little task? How's it actually going to make the world a better place?